Hey guys, and Divine here, welcome all my sexy subscribers. So I'm kind of bummed out because I just did 20 to 30 minutes of recording, and that just bums out. So that was completely deleted, and it was a really interesting topic too. So, here we try again. 10 common misconceptions about space. Alright. 10. People explode. This is literally like the oldest one of the misconceptions. It's probably the most common. So, here we go. You would not explode. You would blow a little, but you wouldn't pop. We're not as fragile as balloons. Our bones, skin, and organs and such aren't fragile enough to give away in bursts unless something is actually tearing them. So, in fact, 1966, one man, I don't know his name right now, was testing a spacesuit when it decompressed at 120,000 feet. He lost consciousness but did not explode and made a full recovery. 9. People freeze. No, you wouldn't. It's actually the opposite. You would overheat. People think in a zero pressure zone that there is absolutely no heat whatsoever. But here's the difference. Think about this. Water over a heat source will rise up, and then it will decompress, transferring the heat into the air around it, which will then cool, and the water will cool down, sink back down in more of a condensation type deal, sink back down, and rise up and repeat. But in space, since there's technically no air for it to, there's nothing for heat to be given off to, so it just stays there. That's all it does. That's what it does. 8. Your blood would boil. Okay. This myth actually has nothing to do with the fact that your body would overheat. It comes from the fact that the boiling point of any liquid has a direct relationship with the pressure of its environment. The higher the pressure, the higher the boiling point, and vice versa. This is because it's easier for a liquid to turn to gas when there's less pressure compressing it into its liquid state. So it's not a huge leap of logic for people to assume that in states where there's no pressure, liquids will boil, including your blood. But that's exposed liquids. Inside you still have veins, so it's protected so it wouldn't boil, but your other bodily fluids, such as any tears or saliva, would definitely not so much boil, but more dry out. Number 7, the sun. Remember when we first started learning about space, and the sun was a big giant ball of fire that showed everyone something, and it just gave off heat and light for us? False. If you've ever come in contact with an open flame, congratulations. You had more fire on you than the sun ever has or ever will. It's a ball of gas that is so incredibly heated that it gives off light and heat energy, and it gives off its glow through nuclear fusion. So the sun does give off light and heat, but there's no conventional fire involved at all. It's simply a giant warm glow. 6. Black holes are funnel-shaped. This is always in cartoons to give the audience the appeal. This representation cannot be farther from the truth. A real black hole is actually a sphere. There is no one side that will pull you in. It's just like a planet with a lot of gravity. If you pass it by too close on either side, any side in fact, you'll just get pulled in. 5. Re-entry. Okay, people think that when a spacecraft is entering back to the Earth's atmosphere, it's the friction that causes it. Well, here's where it makes sense. A spacecraft is surrounded by nothing, and then suddenly shooting through an atmosphere at unfathomable speed. Of course, things tend to get hot. Well, it's true that friction has less than 1% to do with the steering heat. Alright, there's this thing called the bow shaft. And as the craft hurtles back down to Earth, the air passes through, well, I cannot speak, is compressed and collects around the spacecraft. And the air is now trapped from the spacecraft pulling it out, and this speed causes the air to heat up, allowing no time for decompression or cooling. While some of the heat is transferred to the craft and absorbed by the heat shield, the dramatic re-entry we see is mostly the around the craft and exactly what scientists hope for. Comet tails. We all seem to think that it's a tail of light or fire. This can be no more farther than the truth. As a comet I'm just looking at myself here, like I have no page not open, but okay, so I got it. The comet is hurtling through space and it's going at such a high speed that it's ice and solar light, really. Solar heat and solar wind, which melt the ice, sending dust particles flying in the opposite direction. The tail does not create drag behind it, and it's always facing opposite from the sun. 3. Mercury. Mercury is the smallest planet ever since the demotion of Pluto. It's also close to the Sun, so it would be natural to assume that's our system's hottest planet. It's not untrue. In fact, Mercury can get pretty damn cold. At the hottest, Mercury is about 801 degrees Fahrenheit, 427 Celsius. If this was a constant temperature for the entire planet, it'd still be cooler than Venus, which is 860 degrees Fahrenheit, 460 Celsius. The reason Venus is so much hotter, despite being 31 million miles further away, or, just point this out, 39,889,664 kilometers further away, is that Venus has an atmosphere of CO2, carbon dioxide, trapped in the heat, whereas Mercury has nothing. There's another reason it gets so cold, apart from lack of atmosphere. Lack of atmosphere has to do with its rotation and orbit. Complete orbit of the Sun for Mercury takes about 88 Earth days. Oh my God. While complete rotation of the planet is about 58 Earth days. This means that night lasts 58 days on the planet, giving the temperature plenty of time to drop down to a cool -279 degrees Fahrenheit or -173 degrees Celsius. Alright. So this one was a little bit harder to get out. Number 2, probes. Most everybody knows about the Curiosity rover on Mars and the important scientific research it's conducting. People seem to have forgotten about many of the other probes they said earlier. It's only 6:40 at night, god damn. Alright, I'm gonna go get another soda real quick because I kinda need it. 1 second. Anyway, the Opportunity rover landed on Mars in 2003. Given a 90-day life expectancy, almost 10 years later, it's still roving. Alright, there's like 4 fucking more paragraphs on this. I'm just gonna skip all this. So, we send crafts other places on Mars, and we send more craft, more probes and satellites than you would think, and it's incredibly hard to land a rover on a planet. There you go. Right, number 1, zero gravity. This one is so seemingly obvious that many people have a hard time believing it's not true. Satellites, spacecraft, astronauts, and so on do not experience zero gravity. True, zero gravity or microgravity barely exists anywhere in space. Certainly no human has ever experienced it. Most people are under the impression that astronauts and everything else in spacecrafts are floating because they're gone so far away from Earth that they're no longer affected by its gravitational pull. It's actually the presence of gravity that causes floating. When orbiting Earth or any other celestial body large enough to have significant gravity, an object is actually falling. But since Earth is constantly moving, things like spacecrafts don't crash into it. The Earth's gravity is attempting to pull the craft down to its surface, but Earth keeps moving, so the craft keeps falling. This perpetual fall is what results in the illusion of zero gravity. The astronauts are also falling inside the craft, but since they're moving at the same speed, it looks like they're floating. The same phenomenon can be experienced in a falling elevator or plane. In fact, the weightless scenes for the movie Apollo 13, which made us intercept, that was a great movie, I loved it, were filmed in a falling plane used to train astronauts. The plane climbs up to 30,000 feet before going into a near free fall, which allows for 23 seconds of zero gravity. Although it lasts for less than a minute, it's exactly what real astronauts experience in space. So, that was Misconceptions about space. Can't speak. But anyway, I'm so happy to be back up on my feet and recording. Just been under the weather past couple days. School has been rough. Just blah. So I'm glad to get back to recording. It's incredible. I was just mostly reading and drawing for the past couple days. I haven't done anything. So, being back in my infamous corner again is amazing. So, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you're all my sexy subscribers today. If you have any suggestions for another video, you can reach me. I'll put my... Well, most of you probably already my freaking email already because I have found a couple videos, but... Anyway, just comment below if you have any suggestions, and I will see all you in the next video.